Java token. Token is the smallest individual unit of a program. The compiler recognizes them as a build-up for expression and statement. Java character set. Java character set is the smallest unit in the Java program which helps us to write a program. Java character set actually includes the Unicode character which actually tries to create a variety of script from all over the world. A Unicode is a 16-bit character code system and it supports various type of characters. It is more than 34,000 characters are available which are derived from different 24 languages from America, Europe, Middle East, Asia, including India. However, we use the ASCII character set which include the letter, digits, punctuation marks written in English. An ASCII or American Standard Code for Information Interchange set is the subset of the Unicode character set. Hello and welcome to Pathshala, and I am Surendra Ghosh. Next one is identifier. Identifier is the programmer defined or designed token. It is basically helps to naming a class, object, variable, interface, etc. These identifiers have to follow some rules for give some whenever we are just going to give the name of this identifier, and they are like the identifier name must be alphabet, digit, or maximum it can use the underscore as a special character. Every identifier must start with the alphabet. The identifiers, uppercase and lowercase identifiers, are distinct and they can be any of the length. Now Java literals. Literals in Java is a sequence of character which actually stores the constants values in a variable. There are 5 types of literals available in Java, and they are integer literal, floating point literal, character literal, string literal, and Boolean literal. Now constant. Constant means when a value is become fixed in a Java program, and at the execution time we cannot change the value of it, so this value becomes constant. So the constant means the value which is never be changed at the time of execution of the program. Constants are very in different types, and they are like integer type constant. This type of constants holds the integer or whole number type of value, and these integer are again categorized in 3 types, and they are decimal integer, octal integer, and hexadecimal integer. Next one is the floating point or real constant. When a fractional value is stored in as a constant, then this one is known as real or floating point constant. Next one is character constant. Character constant means it can hold only one single character within a single inverted comma. String constant. String constant means it can hold multiple number of characters encoded within the double inverted comma. So these are the different types of constant. Now I come to the point of the variable. In the program, whenever we need to store some value or accept a value from the user and store to a particular memory area of our computer memory, this time we just allocate a memory space, and this memory space is known as variable. So variable is nothing but the memory place where we can store some value, and for what reason actually we are storing this value? Because this value is going to be used for further calculations, and as the value stored in this memory space, it can be changed in the execution time of the program. So the value is not constant or fixed in this place, and for this reason the varieties of value can be stored in the same variable, and that's why it is termed as Variable means it can hold various values within the same place. So this is the variable. Now to identify the memory locations where actually we are going to store the value, we just give a name to these memory locations, and this name is known as the variable name. Whenever we are going to declare any kind of variable, we must to follow some rules, and they are like: variable may contain character, alphabet and digit. Next one is variable always we start with an alphabet. Suppose if I just declare a variable name is A or AB, it is correct. And if I declare a variable name is A2, it is also correct. But if I declare a variable like 2A, so as this variable name is starting with a digit, so it is completely wrong. So it cannot be accepted as a variable. But these three are accepted as a variable. Now, variable can only accept or hold, or in variable name we can use only one special character, that is underscore, and except this we cannot use any other kind of special character. So suppose a variable name like this one is AB. If I just writing this A space, then I just give a space and then write B. So as there is a space in between these two A and B, so it is never be a variable name, because this special character is not allowed, but only special character is underscore. So if I am write this A underscore B, so it is correct. So these are the rules. And the third rule is variable name. In the variable name we never we use the digit in between the alphabet. That means suppose name is AB2, it is correct, but if I write A2B, here the 2 is in between these two alphabet, so this variable is this name is not treated or not accepted as a variable name. So this is the wrong type of declaration of variable name. Variable name must be precise and very meaningful, or depict the logic for which purpose actually this variable actually declared or being used. Suppose if I am going to calculate the area of a rectangle, so the formula of area of a rectangle is length into breadth. So in this case, if I am just taking the length as x and y as breadth and z is area, then z equals to x into y. So these calculations is right, but from this x and y we cannot it actually cannot depict, or we cannot understand for what purpose actually x and y used when we just focus on this variable only, not in this formula. Okay, and z it did not reply any proper answer, but that for what purpose z is being used. If only I just mention this portion of this, but instead of z, if I am writing area, and instead of x I am just write L, and instead of y if I write just B. So in this case you can see the L is the initial letter of the length and B is the initial letter of breadth. So it can depict the logic, and from giving this such type of name we can understand the for what purpose this variable actually being used. So this is a proper type of variable name. But if I'm just using the variable name as like this, the formula, this is the most beautiful variable name, because length it is completely a good variable name, and breadth it is a very good variable name. So if I'm just treating this formula and transforming this individual unit into a variable, then the variable name is exactly suitable. But in many cases, the variable name to depict the logic, the variable name may become longer, and it is not possible to write the longer name in a program again and again. And for this reason, we are actually just shortening the name to depict the logic. Suppose in a program we are going to calculate the area of a rectangle and as well as the area of a circle. So this time I'm just going to declare the variable where actually calculated area is stored. So area of circle and area of rectangle. So this is the name. This name is very good, and there is no problem in this name, but the name length is very long. So if I'm just going to write this variable name in a program for 10 times or 20 times, so it is very difficult to write these long characters. So instead of this long variable name, I'm just using the initials AOC, that is area of circle, and here it is AO, that is area of rectangle, AOR. So if I'm just write the variable name AOC, which actually store the value of area of circle, and AOR, which actually store the value of rectangle, so it can depict the logic. So in this way we can declare a variable name, declare a suitable variable name. And the last point is, variable name never be same as the name of a keyword. Now the question arises in your mind that what is keyword actually? Keyword is nothing but the some or reserved word which are stored into the Java software and which meaning is already defined. It means, so if I just write this word's name into the Java program, it automatically execute the word allotted to it. Some examples are like void, class, public, private, protected, continue, break, for, int, float, etc. There are 51 types of keywords are available in Java programming. Now, whenever we are going to store some value into a variable, the value may vary. Suppose if I'm just store your roll number, so roll number always be as whole number, so it is 10. Suppose this one is 10, so we can store 10 in a variable. Suppose if I like to store the marks of a student, then it can be fractional value. So the value is going to store in a variable or memory location. It's become whole, must have the capability to hold the fractional values. And if I'm just going to store the name of the student, so it just accept a bulk of characters. So according to the type of data which are going to store a particular variable, the data are categorized or typed, that means data type are different. So what is data type? Data type means the type of data is being stored to a particular variable. By data type concept, we can depict what kind of value actually stored in a particular variable. In Java programming language, the data types are two types. One is primitive data type, another one is non-primitive or derived data type. In so this one is the primitive and non-primitive derived data type. In primitive data type, there are two types of data types are available. One is numeric and another one is non-numeric. In numeric, it again categorized in two types, and they are integer type and floating point type. In non-numeric value, they are categorized in two types, and they are characters and another one is boolean. In non-primitive or derived data type, they are categorized in three types, and they are in non-primitive or derived data type, they are categorized in three types, and they are class, interface, array. So these are the different types of data types available in the Java programming language. Now, according to our requirement, we can use the different types of data types for what kind of value actually we are going to store in a particular variable. Now we come to the first one, is integer numeric data type, which belongs to the primitive data type in Java programming. Now in case of integer data type, this can only hold or store the non-fractional values. Now the integer type of numeric value they are different types, and they are just like byte, short, int, long. These different data type store the integer value, but according to their storing capacity into the memory, it is categorized in four types. Byte only can hold the 1 byte into the memory. Short hold the 2 bytes into the memory. Int where hold the 4 bytes into the memory, and long hold the 8 bytes into the memory. Now in floating point case, they are such like float and double. So these float and double, both data type, can store the fractional or as well as non-fractional values. That means if I am just going to store 10, we just use this integer type data type, maybe int or maybe long. But if I am just going to store the 10.5, we cannot use this type of data type, because if I just use this data type, then the fractional portion of this variable is just truncated or omitted, and we can the integer value we can only get. So if I just store the 10.5, it can hold only 10, not 10.5. But in this case, float and double, they can store 10.5. But if I am just like to store the 10 into the floating point value, though it is an integer number, but when it is going to store into the variable float or in a double data type, it actually store as 10.0, not only 10. Okay, so we can store whole number or fractional number in floating point data types, but when we just store the whole number value into the floating point, it always treated as a floating point value. As for the memory allocation, float hold the 4 bytes into the memory, and double holds the 8 bytes into the memory. In case of character, we can store, they are categorized in two types, and they are like char and string. In char data type, we can store only a single character. The character may be from A to Z, or maybe a digit, or maybe a special character we can also store in this variable, but only single one. But if I am just storing a digit in this type of data type, then this digit not being treated as a number, rather it is being treated as a character. So in char variable, we can only store a single character only, and into the memory it can hold only 2 bytes memory. In string data type, they can hold a number of or bulk of or a sequence of characters, and as the character length is increased, the string data type, the memory locations also increased, and for this reason the memory size actually is not being fixed in case of the string data type. It is maybe it is completely depend upon the number of characters stored in a particular value or value stored in a particular variable. Now, Boolean data type. Boolean data type can only hold the value in the form of true or false. So, Boolean data type can only store the value in the form of true or false. True and false also written as in a smaller case. So, in true or either false expressions. In Boolean data type, value can only hold the 1 bit memory locations. Okay, 1 bit memory location. So these are the different types of data types available in the Java programming language. Now I come to the point of how to declare a variable using the data type. Now I am going to tell you how to declare a variable in the Java program. I am just going to write the syntax. Syntax means the architecture or structure in which way actually it is being created. Okay, so the syntax of declaring a variable is data type, then after we are giving space, and this one is the space symbol. So this is the space symbol. I cannot actually exactly show you the space in the board, and that's why this symbol is used as a space or represent a space. So first one is data type, then giving space, and then the variable name. Then give the semicolon. Now in this syntax you can see that there are two angular brackets are used. In syntax, the angular bracket means original or actual value actually being placed or written. So let's take an example. So if I'm just going to declare a variable which actually going to store an integer value, then the data type is become int, and then giving space, and then giving the variable name. And suppose the variable name is a, so int a. Suppose I am just declaring a variable which are able to store the floating point value, so I am declaring float space c. So this c variable can store the value of floating point or fractional values. Now you can see, as per syntax, first one is data type, and within the angular bracket means we are writing the actual value. So actual data type value is int, so just I am writing the int, not the angular bracket, and then I just give the space, and then I am writing the variable name, which actually you can declare as per your choice, but always followed by the variable naming conventions. Now suppose if I am going to declare multiple variables of same data type, we can declare in this way. Suppose int b, but as these both variables are in the same data type, we can write this thing in this way: int a comma b comma d comma e. In this way we can declare 4 variables here which all are same data type, that means integer data type. So if the variables are in the same data type, we can declare in the single line by giving the commas in between them, and also we can declare in the separate line also. But if the data type is different, suppose here it is a, the data type of a is integer and c is float, so we never can declare c and int in the same line. We must to declare in different segment, in as I just do in this board. Now if we know the initial value of any kind of variable, we can store it at the time of declaration. How? Let's see. Suppose I am declaring here int a equals to a and int b equals to 10, and if I know the exact value which is actually stored by the a and b, suppose the a is stored hold the value of 10 and b hold the value of 20, so then after we can write a equals to 10 semicolon and b equals to 20 semicolon in this way. But we can also write this same thing at the time of declaration if I just already known the initial value of a particular variable. So we can write at the time of declaration a equals to 10, b equals to 20, and as we don't know the initial value of these two variables, so I am just writing this variable name simply in this format. So if I know the initial value of a particular variable, we can write down this thing at the time of declaration or any point of segment of the program. So these are the different techniques by which we can declare different types of variable. So in this video, I am basically explain the different types of data types available in the Java programming language. I just give you the concept about the constant and variables. In the next video, I am going to explain with a new topic. Till then, keep watching the rest of the other videos of this channel. Bye bye and have a good day.